Hello everyone, welcome to WebDev Warrior. In this video, we are going to build a modern sports landing page template using the latest version of the Next.js, which is Next.js 40. And we are going to use Tailwind CSS and TypeScript in this project also. So let me show you the full demo of this website. So if I refresh, you can see in the hero section there is a beautiful animations going on. So I can show you again, and we have here a logo, then some nav links with a hover effect, and then we have a button for join now. So this button also has some hover effect, and then this beautiful hero section where we have a background image, then some text and two button here. In the right side you can see there is a play button. If I hover here, it's also have a hover effect. So if I click the play button, you can see a YouTube video will open as a modal. So here I can play this video now. You can add any video here. I am using my Next.js portfolio website video as an example here. So if I click outside of the modal, it will close the modal. So if I click here, it will close. So this is our hero section. And if I scroll, here we have the trending news section with beautiful scroll animation, and this section is very premium looking. So here we have a title, and you can see here also have a hover effect. So then we have the latest news section also with some scroll animation. So here we also have some modern and UI element, like here we have a big card and then we have some small card with hover animation here. And after the latest news, we have the match highlight section with some card, and here you can see also have a play button. So if I click the play button here, it will also open the modal again. I'm using the same video here. You can use different type of video here. So if I click here, the modal will be closed. And then we have the latest post section with scroll animation and also some hover effect. And finally, we have a footer with some social links and other links as well. So the links have a hover effect also. And as you can see here, we have a button. By clicking this button, we are going to the top of the website. So if I click here, it will have a smooth scroll, and we are going to come to the top of our website. So as you can see, initially the button is not showing. So if I scroll some amount, then this button is visible. So if I click here, it will come to the top of our website. So we are going to add this feature also. And this website is fully mobile responsive. Let me show you the responsiveness of this website. So if I select a mobile device like iPhone, you can see here we have a nav menu. So if I click here, a beautiful navbar will open with sliding animation. So here we are going to close the sidebar. So if I click again, you can see the overlay will come to the screen, and then this nav component will come to the screen. So if I click the cross here, it will close, and you can see the animation is very smooth. And you can see the hero section, then the trending section fit perfectly in the mobile devices. We have the latest news section, then the math highlight section, latest post, and finally the footer. And this button is also working in the mobile phone. So if I show you the modal here, if I click this, you can see the modals open. So if I click here, it will close again. So this is the modal. The modal is also responsive in mobile devices. So if I click here, it will go to the top, and if I select the different type of device like iPad mini, you can see here it also fit perfectly. We have the nav menu, which opens the navbar. You can close it with animation. Here in the iPad we have the play button here, and if I click here the modal will open. And we also have the other section like trending news section, the latest news section, match highlight section, the post and the footer. And also the button works properly in the iPad mini. So you can see this project is fully responsive. So in this video, I'm going to show you every step of how to create this website from scratch and how to structure this project, how to create reusable component, and how to deploy this in Vercel. If you have any problem related to this project, you can ask me in the comment section. And the starter file and the full code will be given in the description. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe our channel for more interesting web development project. So now let's start our project. First, we are going to set up our project. For this, I'm going to create a new folder here, and I'm going to name it sports website. And then I'm going to open this folder using Visual Studio Code. And in Visual Studio Code, I'm going to open a new terminal. So here, terminal and new terminal. Then search for Next.js. And in the installation, you have a npx script. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here, and I'm going to add a dot slash so that all the packages are installed in this folder. So now I'm going to enter. Now it asked me, would you like to use TypeScript? Yes, we are going to use TypeScript. We are going to use ESLint. We are going to use Tailwind CSS. We do not need the source directory. And yes, we are going to use the app router. And we do not need to customize our default import alias. So now it will install all the packages in this folder. Now the installation is completed. So here we have a bunch of folder and file. So first go to the tailwind config.ts, and here you can see a background image. We do not need this, so I'm going to cut it. Then this is our main file, this app directory. Here we have a page.tsx. This is our main page file. And then we have a global css, which is our style file. So in the style file, we do not need this code. So I'm going to remove this. And then we have a layout.tsx. This is our overall layout for the project. For example, if you have a navbar here and a footer here, then this navbar and footer will be added to the all the pages you created in this project. So this is our wrapper layout for this project. So we are going to work on this file later. Then we have this page.tsx. This is our main page. So here I am going to remove all of this, and I'm going to use a shortcut to create a component boilerplate, which is RAFCE. So now the boilerplate is created. I'm going to change the name to homepage. So I'm using a extension to create this shortcut. Let me show you the extension. So this is the extension, which is ES7 React Redux React Native Snippet. So this is the extension you need to install if you want to use the shortcut. So here I'm going to give some Tailwind property to check if the Tailwind is working perfectly or not. So I'm going to give a text size of 9 XL. Then I'm going to give a text color of red 800. Now I'm going to run this project using npm run dev. Now if I run this project, and then I have to go to the browser, and I have to go to the localhost 3000. So I'm going to enter this. Let's wait. It's compiling now. So now you can see our text size and color is working properly. That means our Tailwind is working. So next we're going to customize our font. In Next.js 14, we have a Google font integrated with it, so which is very useful for us. So here you can see it import a inter font from the Google font. But for this project, I'm going to use another font, which is Oswald. So I'm going to search for Oswald. You can see it have the suggestion of Oswald. So we're going to use this font, which is importing from the Google font. So now here I'm going to remove this, and here I'm going to use the Oswald, and I'm going to pass some parameter here. So the first parameter is font weight. For the font weight, we're going to pass a array, and here I'm going to use the 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, and 700. Then we have to pass another parameter, which is subset. For the subsets, I'm going to pass Latin, and I'm going to change this variable name to Oswald. And then here in the body and class name, we are going to pass Oswald dot class name. So if I save here, now you can see the font changes. So the font is working properly. Next, we need some images for our project. So I'm going to create a file in the public folder, not file, a folder, which is images. And I'm going to copy the images we are going to use for this project. So the images is attached in the starter file, and the starter file is in the description. If you download the starter file or clone the starter file, you will get all of the images. I am just copying it in my image folder. So this is our images. We are going to use these images in our project. Next, we need some icons for our project. For the icons, I'm going to use React Icons library. So I'm going to search for React Icons. So this is the pages. Here you can see it has a bunch of icons for use. So you can just search here any icons you want, and it will give you the icons. So if you search for example, up arrow, you can see there are a bunch of up arrow icon here. So if you search for Facebook icon, you can see a lot of Facebook icon is here. So we are going to use these React icons in our project. So I am going to open the npm pages of the React icons, then copy this npm script, and then I am going to split our terminal, and here we are going to install our dependencies. So I'm going to enter. Now it will install the React icons. So it's completed. Our icon is also loaded in our project. Then in the app folder, I'm going to create another folder named components. And inside this component, I have a file called home.txs. In this home.txs, we are going to place our component related to the home page, and then this home component will be added to our main page component. Let me show you. So I'm going to create the component boilerplate, and I'm going to save it, and this home component, I'm going to add this home component in our main page component. So here I'm going to use the home component. Now you can see it's home. So And in the home component, we are going to add our feature section, our other card section, our other section. We are going to add this in this home component. So this is our home component, and here in component folder we are going to add our navbar, footer, and other reusable component. So this is our home component, and then in the pages we have a default background for our project. So we are going to choose a dark type background. So hash 111 and we're also going to use overflow hidden. So now the background is very small because we do not have enough content here. So this is our home, this is our page. Then in layout we can change our metadata. So here you can see the title is create next step. So I'm going to change it and write is sports website template. You can give description to your website which is helpful for the SEO purpose. So now if I show you, you can see it's showing sports website template. So this is our setup project. Now we are going to build the navbar. Let me show you the navbar. So this is our navbar where we have a logo, some nav link, and then a button. So we are going to start building the navbar now. For this, I'm going to create a folder inside the component folder, and I'm going to name it navbar. And inside the navbar, I'm going to create three files. One is nav.tsx, another folder with the mobile nav, which is mobile nav.tsx, and then we have a responsive nav. Here we are going to add our navbar and mobile navbar.tsx. So first I'm going to create the component boilerplate using the shortcut RAFCE, and for the mobile RAFCE, and then for the responsive number RAFCE. And inside the responsive navbar we are going to use our navbar, our nav, and mobile. In this file we are going to add our logic for building the responsive navigation. So we are going to add the mobile nav, and now we are going to add this responsive nav component in our layout folder. So inside this layout, before the child, we are going to use our responsive navbar. So responsive nav. So it is added now. Let me show you. So these are nav and mobile navbar. Now we are going to work fast for the desktop navigation bar. So for this, I'm going to the navbar component, and here for the first div, we have a class name of height 12vh. Then we have a shadow of md. So here you can see a slightly shadow is showing here. Then we are going to use the flexbox here. So we're going to use flexbox and justify content between so that they are separated. So for this, inside this div we have another div. So this div have a class name of flex item center justify between height of 100% and width of 90%, and margin will be auto. And then inside this div we first have our logo. So I'm going to import the logo image. So import logo from slash public slash images slash logo.png. So here we are going to use our Next.js image component, which is optimized version of the image tag. So here we have to pass the source. So here the source is logo, and then the alt tag. For this I'm going to write logo here. Then we are going to give a width of 80 and height of 80 pixels. So let me show you. So this is the logo. Then after the image we have our nav link. So nav links. So here we have a UL. The UL have a class name of hidden. In the smaller device the navbar will be hidden, and in the large it will be flex. Items will be center, and spaces will be 16. So the gap between the nav links. So inside the UL we have a li, and inside this li we have a link component from Next.js. So we are going to use this link here, and for the first one we have home, and for the href we are going to pass a hash. So the li have a class name of text of 80 pixel, font will be medium, font medium. Then we have uppercase, and in hover the text color will change to red 600. We're going to use a transition for all, and duration of 200. So this is our one nav link. Now we have 4 more. So I'm just going to copy this li and paste it 4 more times. For first one is home, then we have about, then news, then we have post, then contact. So these are nav link with the hover effect. Then after the UL we have the join now button. So I'm going to give a comment of join now button. So here we have a div, and inside this div we have a button of join now. So the div have a class name of flex, item center, and spacex 3. Inside this div we are also going to add our hamburger menu. That's why we are using the flex. So the join now button and the hamburger menu have separated from each other by a small distance. So for the button we have a class name of px of 6, py of 2, and in small and higher devices px will be 8 and py will be 2.5. Then we are going to use the transitional property here. Then we have the duration of 300, and in hover we have background will be bg blue 600, and the text color will be white, and the font will be semi bold. So now let's check. So we have to give an initial background, which is in the hover it will be bg blue 800, and initially we have bg blue 600. So now let's check. So now it's perfect. So then we have the menu. So after the button we have the menu. So here we are going to use a menu icon. So vi menu, and this is the icon. So I'm going to import this from the React icon. You can see it's imported from the React icons. Then this have a class name of width 2 gram, height of 2 gram, and the text color will be text red 800. So this is our hamburger menu, but it will be hidden in large screen but shows in the smaller devices. So for this we are going to add a in the large screen it will be hidden. So this is our desktop size navigation bar. So if I inspect, you can see the nav links are hidden in small devices, and the hamburger menu is visible in the small devices. Now we are going to build the mobile navigation bar. So for this I am going to open the mobile nav component, and here the first div have a class name of fixed, then the right will be 0, left will be 0, bottom will be 0, and top will be 0. So top 0. And then we're going to use a transition all, because in future we're going to add a transition for the mobile navigation. That's why we're going to use transition all. Duration will be 500 millisecond, and then we have a background of dark, then we have a z index of 1002. So let's see. So these are overlay for mobile nav. Then inside this div we have a cross icon to close the navigation bar. So here I'm going to use another icon, which is im cross, and it is also coming from the React icon. You can just search in the React icon for the icon you want to use. So this icon have a class name of absolute, and then from top it will have 2 gram, then the width will be 1.5 gram, 1.5 gram, then the height will be 1.5 gram, the height will be 1.5 gram, then from right 2 gram, and text color will be white. So let's check. So this is the button, cross button to close the navigation. Then after the icon, cross icon, we have another div. This div have a class name of bgrade 500. No, not 500, bgrade 600. And we are also going to add a animation here. That's why we are going to use transition all, and the duration will be same 500 millisecond. Here we are going to use a delay of 200, so that first the overlay comes and then the main navigation links will come. So delay 200 millisecond. Then we have flex. Then we have item center, justify center, and width will be 70%, and height will be 100%. So this is our nav links component, nav links div, you can say. So here we are going to place our nav links. So inside this div, so here we can use a comment for this is the close icon, and then this is the nav links div, and here we are going to place our nav links. So I'm just going to copy the UL from our navbar component. So I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to paste it here. Obviously we are going to change some property here. First we are going to import the link from next link, and the UL we do not need any of this. Here we'll just have space y of 10, and, and in the li we have text of 25 pixel, and we are going to use capitalize, and in we do not need the capitalize because we already have the uppercase property here, so we will stick to the uppercase. And in hover, the text color will be, so I am going to select all of these using Control D to select all, and here in hover the text color will be yellow 400. And also the text will be 25 pixel for all of this, and text color will be white. So now it's looking good. Maybe we can change the font size to 27 pixel. Now it's better. So our mobile nav is completed. Now we have to add the functionality to open the navbar and close the navbar. Let me show you in the deployed version. So here if I click, the first the overlay comes and then the nav links, and it has some beautiful sliding animation. And if I click on the cross, it will also have a sliding animation and it will close the navbar. So for this, in the responsive nav, here we are going to use useState. But as you know, in Next.js 14, every component is a server component. And in server component, you cannot use useState, useEffect, or any kind of hooks. To use the hooks, you have to convert your component in client component. So as we are going to use the useState in this component, we are going to convert this server component in client component. To convert a server component in client component is very easy. You just have to use the use client text in top of your component. So now we can use the use effect, use state, or any kind of hooks here. So here we have const showNav and set showNav, and we have the use state, and initially it will be false. Now you can see there is no error, but if I remove this or comment this and save this, you can see it showing an error, and it say it only works in a client component but none of its parent are marked with use client. So it will give us error. We have to convert this in client component using this text. So now if I save, you can see the error is gone. So now we have two function. One is open navbar, open nav handler. We're going to use an arrow function, and for the open nav handler we're going to set the show nav to true, and another is close nav handler, and we're going to set show nav to false. Now we have to pass some props in our nav component and mobile nav component, and based on these props we have to do some styling chains, and we have to call some function. So for the nav we are going to pass a prop which is open nav, and here we are going to pass our open nav handler function so that we can open the navbar in using the navbar or the menu bar. And for the mobile nav we are going to pass two props. One is for nav, which is show nav, and then we have another prop which is close nav, and we are going to pass our function close nav handler. Now you can see it showing some warning for type assignment because we are passing a props but we are not receiving the props properly in our component, and we do not have any type for the props and which type of props will be received. That's why we have to declare proper typing for the props. So first in the nav we are using the interface, which is a TypeScript features, and here I'm going to name it props because we are going to give types for our props. That's why I'm using the name props. You can use anything you want for the props. For this nav component we are receiving a function, so here you can see we are receiving a function open nav handler, and what type of function it is returning a void. So you can see it's do not returning anything, so that's why we have open nav, and it's a function, it's an arrow function, and it's return nothing, so that's why void. And now I'm going to pass this props in our component, and then I'm going to import the open. So when we click on the menu button we are going to open the navbar, So here I'm going to use on click and open the nav. So that's it. And in the responsive nav, you can see for the mobile nav we are giving two props. So I'm going to open the mobile nav, and here I'm going to use the interface and props. Let's use a comment here so you can understand better. So type for props. So here we are going to receive a nav which is type of boolean and a function of close nav, and the function will return void. So here we are going to pass our props. Now you can see the warning or red sign is gone, and I'm going to use the close nav and nav. So let's use this in navbar also. So here based on the nav it is showing or not showing, it is true or false. Based on this we have some certain styling that we are going to apply in our mobile. So how we can do this, let me show you. So const nav style, we are creating a variable, and if the nav is true, that means it's showing, then we are going to translate x of 0. That means we are going to show the mobile number. Otherwise we will use translate x of minus 100%. That means we are not going to show the mobile number, it will be outside of the screen. And now we have to add this dynamic styling. So that's where we have to convert this into a template literal. So I'm going to use the curly braces and the template literal sign so that we can use the variable here. So after the fixed, I'm going to add our nav style. So we're going to use the nav style for our overlay and also the nav links div. So for this we are also going to convert this in the template literal format and remove this double quote, and here I'm going to use the nav style, and here by clicking the cross icon we are going to close the navbar. So on click close nav. So let's see is everything work properly. So first the navbar, if I click here you can see first the overlay comes slidingly and then the main nav links comes. If I click here it will be closed. You can see it's worked properly and the animation is very smooth and perfect. Now if I increase the high viewport width you can see the menu is gone. Now we have the link here and everything looks perfect here, the navbar. If I select a specific device like iPhone and click the nav menu, you can see everything looks great, every functionality works properly. So our navbar is completed. Next we are going to build the hero section. Let me show you the hero section. So this is the hero section where we have a background image, some text, a play button, and if we click on the play button, it will open a YouTube video, and if I click here, it will close the modal. So we're going to build this hero section now. For this, I'm going to create a folder inside the component folder, and I'm going to name it hero. And inside this hero folder, we're going to create a hero.tsx, and I'm going to use the boilerplate generator with shortcut, which is RAFCE, to generate the component boilerplate. And now I'm going to add this hero in our home component. So in our home component, I'm going to add our hero. So now this is our hero section. So now for the first div in our hero component, have a class name of relative height of 88 VH. Background will be an image, so bg, then URL, and inside this URL we are going to pass our URL, which is slash images slash banner1 dot jpg, and then we have background cover and background center. So this is our background image. Next we are going to give a overlay, so black overlay here, so that our text is more visible and it looks more premium. So for the overlay, here we have another div with class name of absolute top 0, left 0, right 0, bottom 0, and background will be RGB 0, 0, 0, 0.68. Now this is our black overlay. Then after this div, let me comment here, black overlay, or you can say the dark overlay. So after this div, we have another div of class name relative z index will be 10, flex item center height will be 100%, text will be white, so inside this div we have this text and play button. We are using the grid system here. So after this div, we have another div with class name of width 80%, then margin will be auto, grid items will be center, grid calls 1 for the small devices, and in large screen the grid calls will be 2, and the grid gap will be 2 rem. So first we have the text content, and then we have the play button. So inside this div we have a p tag with football. In this p tag have a class name of, in the small devices px will be 8, otherwise px will be 4. In extra small devices py will be 1 and margin bottom will be 1 rem. Then text will be 12 pixel in extra small screen, and in small screen it will have a text of 16 pixel. Background will be red 600. Text color will be white. Object will be feet and uppercase. So this is our text football. After the p tag we have a h1 tag. Here the text is, for the text I am just going to copy it from here. So this is the text, so I'm going to copy this and then paste it here. And the h1 have a class name of text 25 pixel. In a small device text will be 32 pixel. In medium text will be 38 pixel, and in large text will be 45 pixel. Text color will be white. Leading will be 2 rem. In medium leading will be 3.5 rem, and font will be medium. So let's check. So these are h1. Then we have this date and by whom. So now we are going to build this too. So after the h1 we have another date with class name flex item center and space 40. Inside this div we have another div with class name of flex item center space 2 margin top 1 rem, and a small or large screen margin top will be 2 rem. And inside this div we have an icon. So here I'm going to use a calendar icon, and then we have the date. So March 20 2024. So the icon have a class name of width 1 rem, height 1 rem, text white, and the p tag have a class name of text 11 pixel. In a small and large device text 16 pixel, text white and uppercase. So this is looking good. For the next one I'm just going to copy this, and here the icon will be user icon. So I'm going to import it from React icon, and here the text will be by WebDev. warriors. So now it's looking good. Then we have the two button. So after this div, we have two buttons. So I'm going to declare a div, and this div have a class name of margin top of 2.4 RAM, flex, item center, and spaces 6. And inside this div, we have two buttons. So we have two buttons. The first button is watch highlights. And the second button is learn more. So the first button have a class name of the small px will be a, and small and large device py will be 2.5, and the extra small the px will be 4 and py will be 2. Background will be red 600. In hover, background will be red 800. Transition all, duration 200 milliseconds, and the small text will be 17 pixel, and extra small the text will be 13 pixel. Font will be semi bold, and text color will be white. I am going to copy this and paste it for the next button. Here the background will be bg gray 300. No, the bg will be white, and in hover it will be bg gray 300. Text color will be black. So let's check. So this is our two button, which looks good. Now we have to build this play button. So for this, here I'm going to create a div, and inside this div we have another div with class name of with 10 RAM, large and larger devices, margin left will be auto, height will be 10 RAM, rounded will be full, bg will be red 600. In hover, bg will be black. Transition all, duration 200 milliseconds, cursor pointer small, the flex pull, item center, justify center, and for the extra small device it will be hidden. So here we are going to use an icon which is FA play, and it comes from the React icon, and this icon has a class name of width freedom, height of freedom, and text will be white. So let's check. So this is our play icon. Now we have to build the modal. So when I click the play button, a modal will open and the modal will play a YouTube video. So now we are going to build the modal. To build the modal, I am going to create another folder inside the component folder which is helper. And inside this helper, I am going to create a modal.tsx component, React arrow function. So I'm going to create the boilerplate here, and now inside the hero section I'm going to place the modal here. Modal. It has a spelling mistakes. So modal. So here we have the modal. So now I'm going to style the modal. So first, the modal have a class name of relative, and inside this div we have another div. It's for the overlay, modal overlay. So this div have a class name of fixed top 0, left 0, right 0, and bottom 0. And the background color will be #00 E1, and the Z index will be 20. So here it is top, so more left. So this is the modal overlay. Next we have another div which is the main modal. So here we have a div with class name fixed top 50%, left 50%. We're just going to place this div in the middle of the website. So top 50%, width of 350 pixel, height of 250 pixel, and in medium and large width will be 500 pixel and height will be 300 pixel. and in large width will be 800 pixel and height will be 500 pixel. Z index will be 21. Translate X will be minus 50% and translate Y is minus 50%. So inside this div we have an iframe to place our YouTube video. So for the source, here I am going to paste the source. You can use any of your videos or any video you want. Just copy this iframe link here, source here. So then we have a class name of width full and height full. So our YouTube video is now showing here. Now we have to implement the functionality to open the modal by clicking the play button and close the modal by clicking the overlay. So for this, in the hero component, we have to use the use effect. So not the use effect, but use state. That's why I'm going to make this a client component. So use client. And then I'm going to create a state for const show model and set show model and use state, and initially it will be false. Then we have a show model handler function which is going to set the show model to true. And then I'm going to copy this. We have a height model handler which will be false. I think I will name it close model handler. Now we are going to conditionally show this component. So if the show model is true, and then we are going to show this model, otherwise we are not going to show the model. Now we have to pass some props in our model. So here we are going to pass the height model props, and here we are going to pass the close model handler. Now we have to declare the proper type for our props. So I'm going to the model.tsx, and here interface props, and here we are going to receive the height model, which is a function that return void. Now I'm going to pass these props here and import the height model, and when we click on the overlay, so on click we are going to hide the model. So that's it. And when we click the play button, so class name, not class name, so on click, so when we click the play button, we are going to show the model. So let's see if it's work. So if I click here, you can see the model open, and if I click the outside of the model or in the overlay, it close. So it's worked properly. Let me show you that the video section is fully responsive. So as you can see, the navbar reduces. You can see it fits perfectly. So if I select a specific device like iPhone, it is showing perfectly And if I select another device and then iPad mini, you can see everything is aligned or adapt perfectly in the mobile view and iPad view. So our video section is completed. Next, we are going to build this trending news section. So you can see a beautiful trending news section with 4 cards. Here we are going to use the grid system and we are going to divide this in 4 parts. So let's start building this section. So for this, I'm going to create another folder in my components folder and I'm going to name it trending news. And inside this, I'm going to create another file. I'm going to name it pending news.tsx. And here I'm going to use our shortcut to create the boilerplate, and then I'm going to add this in our home component. So after the hero, we have our trending news. So add this. So let's see. So here we have our trending news. The trending news, the first div have a class name of padding top of 5 RAM and padding bottom of 3 RAM. So we are using some padding. So you can see some padding, and then inside this div we have our heading. So for this we have a h1 and it's a trending news. Now here I am going to create a custom class name. So I'm going to give this heading because we are going to add heading for almost every of our section. So we are going to create a custom class name heading and then we are going to reuse this class name. So now I am going to open my global CSS and here in layer components I'm going to add a custom class which is heading, and inside this heading we are going to apply some Tailwind classes. So the first one is text wide, then text will be 25 pixel, and in medium screen text will be 35 pixel, font semi bold, width will be 80%, and margin will be auto. So by using a custom class, we do not need to repeat this same class for every section heading. So now go to the trending news section and let's check. So here we can see our heading trending news. Then we have the card dips. Card dip. So here we have a dip with class name of padding top of 2 RAM. Then in medium padding top of 3 RAM and width will be 80%. Next will be auto and I'm going to use grid, and for the small devices grid calls will be 1, and in medium grid calls will be 2, in large grid calls will be 3, and in extra large grid calls will be 4. Then we are going to use a grid cap of 2 RAM. So then we have our, here we can say it cards div, and inside this div we have our card. So this is the card 1. So div, inside this div we are going to create another reusable component which is news card. By using this reusable component, our project will be more maintainable and structured. So I am going to create the news card component in our helper folder. So in the helper, I am going to create another file called news card.tsx, and inside I'm going to use our RAFCE to create the boilerplate. And now I'm going to add this here, news card. In this news card component, we are going to pass some props. So the first props is image. We are going to pass a images. So images slash n1.jpg. And second, we are going to pass a date. So for the first one, we are going to use March 21, 2024. And then we are going to pass a title. So for this one, I'm going to say words in inland team. And then we are going to pass a height props. So height, and we are going to pass a Tailwind CSS class name, height 300 pixels. So we are passing the height because in another component we are going to use the same news card component but with different height. So that's why I'm passing a height prop. So this is our first card, and then I'm going to copy this 3 times. So this is our first card, this is our second card. Here we have N2. Let's change this to 22. The title, you can change the title, but I am not changing it. Then this is the third card, 23 and N3. This is the fourth card, N4, 24, and that's it. Now we have to receive the props and give them a proper type and pass the props type in our news card component. So let's do this. So in the news card, I'm going to use the interface again, interface props, and we are receiving a title of type string, then an image of type string, then a date of type string, and finally a height of type string. And then I'm going to pass this props in our news card component. Here I'm going to import the date, height, image, and title. So now in Tailwind we cannot directly use the image as a background image. So here I am going to create a constant of card background, and here we have a background image, which is URL, and here we are going to pass our image. So these are card background. Now for the first div, we have a class name. Here we are going to use the template read literal, because here we are going to use the dynamic height property here. So first we have a relative and flex, item center, item not center, item will be start, and justify will be end, flex direction will be in column direction, background will be cover, background will be center, and then we're going to insert our height. Let's see. So we do not insert the background here. So for this, after the class, we're going to add the style and pass the card background. So now you can see we have 4 image as a background. So it's looking good. Then after this div, we have a overlay. So let me show you. Here you can see we have a dark overlay in the background image. So we are going to build this now. So here is card overlay. So here we have a div with class name of absolute, top 0, left 0, right 0, bottom 0. Then we have a background of 0 0 0 0 0 0 8f. Then we have a height of 100%. So this is our overlay. You can see the overlay is applied to every card. Then we have our card content. So card content. So here we have a div with the class name of relative. Then we're going to use a z index 10 so that the content is not under the overlay. So z index 10, then we have padding. So inside this div, we have another div with class name of flex item center spacx 4. So we are building this part now. So inside this div, we have a h1 football, and then we have a p tag with the date. The h1 has a class name of width will be feet, px will be 4, text will be 12 pixel, py will be 2 pixel, uppercase, bg will be red 500, and text color will be white. And for the date, have a class name of text white, text positive will be 75. So this is looking good. Then we have a title and a read more button. So after this div, we have a h1, and here we have the title. So this h1 have a class name of text 20 pixel. In the hover, text will be red 500, cursor will be pointer. In the hover, there will be underline, transition all, duration 500 uppercase, margin top of 0.5 rem, text wide, and font will be semi-bold. So let's check. So this is our title. Then we have the read more button. So the H1 we have another div, and then we have a p tag with read more. Here we have a class name of padding top on RAM over text rate 500 cursor pointer over underline transition all duration 500 millisecond, text color will be white, text will be 17 pixel, and font will be semi-bold. So this is the read me button, read more button. So here we are going to use the object feed property. Now it's looking good. Let me show you that this is fully responsive. So I'm going to inspect. As you can see, first we have the 4 card. If I decreases the screen size, now it has 3 card and one is in bottom. Then we have the 2 card, and if I decreases it more, now it have 1 card. So if I select a iPhone 12 Pro, you can see the content is adapted perfectly. And for the another type of screen size, which is iPad mini, you can see it's also looks very nice. So this is our trending news section. Next we are going to build the latest news section. So we are going to build this section now. So let's create another folder in our component folder, and I'm going to name it latest news. So inside this folder I'm going to create a new file called latest news.tsx, and then I'm going to use the react arrow function. So I'm going to use the shortcut to create the boilerplate RAFC, and then I'm going to add this in our home component. So here we have our latest news. So let's see. So these are latest news. Now the first div have a class name of padding top of 5 rem and padding bottom of 3 rem, and then inside this div we have a heading. So heading, here we have h1 of the heading of latest news, and this h1 have a class name of heading. So let me show you. So this is the heading latest news, and then we have another div with class name of width 80%, margin will be auto, padding top will be 4 rem, grid, we have grid calls 1 in small devices, and in large devices we have grid calls 5. We are going to use a grid cap of to RAM. So inside this div we have a big card and then we have a small card. So let me show you. So this is our big card and this is our small card. And for the big card we have a class name of calls span 3 call span 3, and for the small card we are having a class name of call span 2. So we are dividing the full width in 5 part and then give the 3 for the big card and give the 2 part for the small card. So now for the big card, inside this div we are going to use our news card, and here we have to pass some props. First one is the image, so here we are going to pass images slash in1.jpg, and for the date we are going to pass 23 March 23 2024. Then for the title we are going to use team England. So these are title, and finally here we are going to pass our height, and it will be height 400 pixels. So this is our big card. Let's see. So here you can see our big card. Now we have to build this small card. So then inside this div we have another div, and here we are going to create another component for small card, and we're going to use the reusable component here for the small card. So in the helper I am going to create another file called small news card.pff, and I'm going to use the RAFC to create the component boilerplate, and then in the latest news here I'm going to use the small news card. So in this small news card we are going to pass some props. So the first prop we are going to pass is the image. So here images slash in1.jpg. The second one is the date, so March 23 2024, and then the title. So we are going to use this same title here. So we have 3 small cards. So this is the one. I'm going to copy this 2 times, and for the second one it's in 2, and we're going to change the date in 3, and that's our small card. Now we have to receive these props and give them the proper type definition. So for this I'm going to open the small news card section, and here we have the interface props, and we're receiving a title of string, then we're receiving an image as a string, then we have a date of type string. Now we are going to pass this props in our component, so props, and here I'm going to input the date, the image, and the title. So for the first div, we have a class name of bg gray 900 p4 flex item center, and spaces will be 6. Then inside this div we have the image. So here for the image div we have it hidden in extra small devices, and in small and large devices we are going to show the images. And inside this div we are going to use our Next.js image component. We are going to import the image from next image, and here we have the source, which is image coming from our props. Then we are going to give an alt. Here I am going to give the title as our alt text. Then we have a width of 120 and a height of 120, and the class name will be object cover. So let's see. So these are 3 images. Next, after this div we have the content, and this is the image. For the content we have another div, and this div have a class name of flex item center and spacex4, and inside this div we have a h1, and the text is football, and then we have a p tag with date. So this h1 have a class name of with fit, then px4 text will be 8 pixel, and small text will be 10 pixel, py will be 2 pixel, and uppercase background will be red 600, and text will be white. And for the p tag we have a class name of text white, then text is 9 pixel, and smaller devices the text will be 12 pixel, and the text opacity will be 75. So let's check. So this is our content, but there is something missing. So here we have need to give a space. So now it's looking good, and after this div, so here we have mistakes. We're going to have another div, which is the wrapping div. So I'm going to paste it here. So after this div we have a h1 with title, and then we have a p tag with the read more. So read more. The h1 have a class name of text 13 pixel, and small the text will be 17 pixel. Then in hover the text color will be red 500, and cursor will be pointer. And hover we also have an underline. Then we're going to use the transition all, duration 500 millisecond, uppercase margin top of 0.5 RAM, text will be white, and font will be semi-bold. And the p tag has a class name of margin top of 1 RAM. In hover, the text will be red 500, cursor will be pointer, and in hover we also have underline. Then we have a transition all, duration will be 500 millisecond, text color will be white, text will be 12 pixels, and small and large the text will be 15 pixels, and font will be semi-bold. Font semi-bold. So let's check. So these are title and read more. So in the H1 we have an uppercase. So here we are missing a space. Now it's looking good. Let me show you the responsiveness of this component. So if I inspect, you can see it's adapting perfectly with the screen size. If I select iPhone 12, you can see the content is fit perfectly. And if I select iPad mini, it's also looking very nice. So our latest news section is completed. Here we have missing a margin top and bottom for the second element or second card. Let me show you. You can see there is a small gap between each card. So we have to fix this. For this, I'm going to open my trending news, and for the second card, I'm going to give a class name of margin top 1.4 RAM and margin bottom of 1.4 RAM. So sorry, this is not in the trending news. It's in the latest news. So in the latest news, for the second card, I'm going to give a class name of margin top of 1.4 RAM and margin bottom of 1.4 RAM. Now you can see it looks perfect. So this is our latest news section. Next, we are going to build the match highlight section. You can see here we have a 4 card with beautiful design, and here we are going to use the grid system again, and we are going to divide the width in 4 parts, and each part is a individual card. Here you can see we have a play button. If I click here, there will be open a modal with a YouTube video, and if I click outside of the modal, it will close the modal. So now we are going to build this match highlight section. So for this, I'm going to create a new folder in my components folder, and I'm going to name it match highlights. And inside this, I'm going to create a component called match highlights.tsx. And here I'm going to use a shortcut to create the boilerplate, and then I'm going to add this in our home component. So after the latest news, I'm going to add our match highlights. So that's it. So here you can see our match highlights. Now we are going to style this. So for this, first of all, the first div have a class name of padding top of 5 RAM and padding bottom of 3 RAM. And inside this div, we have a h1 for the heading, which is match highlights. So here give a comment of heading, and the class name will be heading, our custom class that we built previously. Now you can see why we create this class. So we do not need to write the same code, same style again and again. So now if I check, so this is our heading match highlights. Then after the heading, we have another div for the grid. Here we are going to declare our grid. So first I'm going to give a margin top of 3 rem, then width of 80%, margin will be auto, and it will be a grid. And for the small devices, the grid calls will be 1, and in medium, grid calls will be 2, in large, grid calls will be 3, and for extra large, grid call will be 4. And we are going to use a gap of 3 rem. And then inside this div, we have a div, and here we are going to create another separate component, reusable component, which is highlights card. Highlight card. So here we will have the card. So by creating separate component, will make our project more maintainable. So I'm going to create another component in this folder. So here I'm going to create highlights card.tsx. So I'm going to create the component boilerplate using RAFCE. You can create this highlight card in the helper function if you want, but I'm going to create it here because I do not have planned to reuse it anywhere else. So highlights card, and then I'm going to place it inside this div. Highlights card. So now the highlights card, we are going to pass some props here. So first props we are going to pass is the image. So here we are going to pass our images. Next we are going to pass a title. So I'm going to copy the title from the deployed version. So this is the title we are going to use. You can use anything you want. So title, and then we're going to pass the date, so which is 21 March 2024. Now we have 3 cards, so I'm going to copy this 3 more times. We have 4 cards, so this is the one, so we need 3 more. So 1 2 3. And for the second one, I'm going to change the image and date. Now we have to receive the props properly and give them a proper type, and then pass these props in the main component. So for this, I'm going to open the highlights card, and here I'm going to declare a interface props, and here we are receiving a title which is a string, which is of type string. Then we are receiving an image which is also a type string. Then we have a date, and it is also of type string. And then we're going to pass this in our main component, and here I'm going to import our date, image, and title. So here we have a typing mistakes. It will be date, not data. Now it's good. So now we are going to build our highlights card. So for this, first we have a class name of bg hash 1e 1c and 1c, and we're going to use some padding here. And inside this div we have another div for the image, so image, and here we have a div with class name of height, this 230 pixel, and relative z index will be 10. And then inside this div we are going to use our Next.js image tag. So we're going to import the Next.js image component here, and we have to pass our source, and the source is our image that coming from our props, and then we're going to use the alt, and we are going to use the title as our alt tag. And then we have a width of 200 pixel and height of 200 pixel, and then we have a class name of object cover, then height will be 100% and width will be 100%. So let's check. So this is our image, it's look very nice. And then we have this card, or you can say a timestamp here. Then we have a title and a date. So after this div we have another div with class name of width for ram, height of for ram, it will be absolute, top will be 50%, left will be 50%, so this is for the play button. So you can see here we have a play button. So now we are styling the play button. So left will be minus 50%, translate x will be minus 50%, and translate y will be minus 50%, and then it will be flex item center, justify center, then we have a flex direction of column, then we have background of black color, and in hover the background will be changed to red 600. We are going to use the rounded full, and then transition all, and the duration will be 300, and finally cursor pointer. So inside this div we are going to place our play button, so play icon. We are going to use the play icon, and we are going to import it from the React icon, and it has a class name of text y. So after the image we have our play button. So let's check. So the play button is not showing. Let's refresh the page. No, it's not showing. Let's inspect. The play icon is here. That is because we do not mark our relative. So for the image div, it is relative and we have a mistake here. So it will be inside this div. So if I paste it here, now it's in the perfect position. So now the play button is looks good. It has some hover effect also. Next, we have another div for the timestamp time. So here we have a div with class name of tx4 py1 bg 600 absolute. Sorry, it will also be inside the div, this image div. So absolute. Then we have bottom of 0, and then we have left 0, flex, item center, and then we have space x2. Inside this div we have the play icon. So if so we are going to use the same play icon here, and then we have a time. So here I'm going to use 6 p.m. and for the icon we have a class name of text white, and for the p tag it has a class name of text 15 pixel text white. That's it. So now let's check. So this is our time. It's looking good. Then we have our title. So after this div and after the image div, we are going to have a title. So title h1, and we are going to use our title props. So here we have a class name of text 18 pixel. Then we are going to use the text white, and then we have margin top of 1.5 RAM. Then padding bottom will be 1.5 RAM. Then we have border bottom of 2. Then we have border gray of 500, and the border opacity will be 30, and then we have a font of semi-bold. Now let's check. So this is our title, and you can see there is a border after the title, and then we have a p tag, and inside this p tag we are going to have our date. Sorry for the background noise. So here we have a class name of text white. Then we have text opacity of 70, and then we have a margin top of 0.5 RAM. So let's check. So this is our date. and this component is looking very nice. Let me show you the responsiveness of this section. So if I select the responsive, you can see first we have the forecard, and if I decrease the viewport height, viewport width, you can see it is now in 3 and 1, and if I decreases more, now it's 2 and 2, and if I do further, now it's in 1. So if I select specific devices like iPhone, you can see it's fit perfectly, very nicely. And if I select the iPad, you can see it also looks very nice. The next thing we are going to do is the modal. So when I click on the button, we have to show the modal. For this, in the highlights card, we are going to place the first we are going to use a use state. So const, I'm just copying it from our hero section. So this is the code, so I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here, and we have to import the use state. As you can know, we are using use state, so we have to make this a client component. So I'm going to make it a client component, and then we have to place the modal here. So I'm going to copy this, and inside the div I'm going to paste it here, and we have to import the modal. So I'm importing the modal. Now I'm going to save this file and let's check. So if I click, so one thing we are missing, that is on clicking the play button. So this is the, no, this is not the play button. So this is the play button. Here on click, we are going to show the modal. So now it's time to check. So if I click, you can see the modal open, and if I click outside, it's closed. So it's open and it's closed, and I show you the responsiveness also. Let me show you the responsiveness of the modal. You can see it's looking good. For the iPhone, it's also fit perfectly. So our match highlight section is completed. Next, we are going to build the latest post section. So this is the latest post section where we have an image, some text with hover effect. So now we are going to build this section. For this, I'm going to create a new folder inside my component folder, and I'm going to name it latest post. And inside this folder, I'm going to create a file called latest post.tsx, and I'm going to use the shortcut to create the component boilerplate, and then I'm going to add this in our home component. So in our home component, I'm going to add our latest post. So now let's check. So these are latest post. Now for the latest post, the first div have a class name of padding top of 5 RAM, padding bottom of 3 RAM, and then inside this div we have a h1 for heading. Here we have our latest post heading, and the class name is heading. Now let's check. So this is our latest post. And then after this h1, so let's give this a comment of heading, and then we have a div with class name of with 80%. Then we have margin of auto and margin top of 3 rep, and then inside this div we have our postcard. So here we are going to declare our postcards. So first div, and here I'm going to create another reusable component called postcard. So first I'm going to create a file here called postcard.tsx, and I'm going to create the boilerplate component boilerplate using the RFCE, and then I'm going to add the postcard here. So postcard. So this is our postcard. The postcard will receive some props. So first one is the title. For the title, I'm going to copy the text from the deployed version. So this is the text. I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to paste it here. Then we have image, and here I'm going to pass the images, and then we have a date, and here 21 March 2024. So we have 4 cards. So I'm going to copy it 3 times. So as you can see, we have 1 2 3 4 postcard. So this is the first one, postcard 1. And then this is the second postcard. Here I'm going to change the images to N2 and the date. This is the third postcard. And this is the fourth postcard. This is the first card number 4. So here we are going to change this to N4 and the date will be 24. Now we have to receive these props and give this the proper types. So for postcard, I'm going to create an interface, and for the props, and we're receiving a title of type string. Then we are receiving an image of type string, then date of type string. Now I'm going to pass the props in our component, and here I'm going to import the date, image and title. And for the first div, we have a class name of flex, height will be 200 pixels, items will be center, SpaceX will be 6, margin bottom will be 1.5 rem, background will be hash 1f 1d 1d, and then inside this div we have another div. This is for the image. So this div have a class name of height 100%, and in the small devices the image will be hidden, and in the small and large device it will be block. So inside this div we are going to use our Next.js image component, and here the source will be image coming as a props. The alt, I'm going to use the title as the alt text, and then width will be 300 pixel and height will be 300 pixel, and I'm going to use a class name of height 100% and object cover. So let's check. So this is our 4 image. So here we are missing a space, so that's why the margin bottom is not working. So now if I save, now we have some gap between each postcard. So after the image, we have the content. So here I am going to declare a div, and inside this div we have another div of class name flex item center and space x of 4, and inside this div we have a h1 of football and then a p tag for the date. The h1 have a class name of px4 py1 bgred 500 text 10 pixel, and the small and large device the text will be 12 pixel, and medium text will be 40 pixel, text color will be white and uppercase. And for the p tag, for the date we have a class name of text white text 10 pixel, and the small text will be 12 pixel, medium text will be 14 pixel. Now let's check. So these are date and these are football text. Next we have another h1 for the title, and this h1 have a class name of text 14 pixel, and the small text will be 16 pixel, in medium text will be 20 pixel, font will be semi-bold, and in hover the text color will be changed to red 500, and in hover will have an underline, cursor will be pointer, transition will be all, duration will be 300 milliseconds, margin top will be 1 rem, text color will be white. Then after the h1 we have a p tag for read more. So this p tag have a class name of margin top of 2 rem, in hover text red 500, in hover it will be underline, then cursor will be pointer, transition will be all, duration will be 300 milliseconds, margin top of 1 rem, now we already used the margin top, so the duration 300, then we have text color of white, text 20 pixel. In small, text will be 14 pixel. In medium, text will be 17 pixel, and font will be semi-bold. So let's check. So these are title and this is our read more button. So for the read more, we have to use the with fit property. So now it's looking good. So let me show you the responsiveness of this section. So if I inspect, and you can see it's adapting perfectly with the viewport height. So in the smaller devices, the image is hidden. So if I select a specific device like iPhone 12 Pro, you can see it's looking very nice. And if I select iPad mini, it's also looking very nice. So our latest post section is completed. Next, we are going to build this beautiful footer section. So here we have four parts. So here we have some social icons, some footer links with hover effect. So let's start building this section. So for this, I'm going to create another folder inside my component folder, and I'm going to name it footer. And inside this footer, I'm going to create a file called footer.tsf. And I'm going to use the shortcut to create the component boilerplate, and then I'm going to add this footer in my overall layout page. So in layout, so first we have the responsive nav, then we have the children, and then I'm going to add our footer. So let's check. So here is the footer. So now we are going to style this. For this, the footer, the first div, have a class name of padding top of 5 RAM, padding bottom of 3 RAM, and background of hash 111111. And then inside this div, we have another div with class name of width 80%, margin will be auto. Then we are going to use the grid system. So grid, and grid calls 1 for small devices, and then medium grid calls 2, in large grid calls 3, and in extra large grid calls 4. Then we are going to use a gap of 3 RAM, and items will be start. Then the padding bottom will be 2 RAM, and border bottom will be 2, so that means 2 pixel. Then border color will be white, and then border opacity will be 10. Border opacity will be 10. So inside this div we have our first part. So first part, here we have a div, and inside this div we have a h1 about club. So this h1 have a class name of text 22 pixel, text white, font semi bold, margin bottom of 1.5 RAM, and then uppercase. So let's check. So this is our about club, and this is the border. Then after the h1 we have a p, and I'm going to use the lorem ipsum generator to generate some random text. Here I am using a extension which is called lorem ipsum. So this is the extension I am using to generate some random text. So this p tag have a class name of text 17 pixel, text color will be white, font will be semi bold, then we have text opacity will be 70. That's it. Let's check now. So this is our description. So I'm going to cut some of this to make it short. So this is our text. Then we have the social icon. So after the p tag we have another div with class name of margin top of 1.5 gram. Then we have flex, item center, and space 3. So inside this div we have another div, and this div has a class name of width 2.4 ram, height will be 2.4 ram, then background will be bg sky 400, then no, it is bg blue 600. This is for the Facebook icon. So bg blue 600, rounded will be full. Then we have a flex, item center, justify center, and flex will be in column direction. So inside this div we have our Facebook icon. So we are going to use our hero icon, not hero icon, React icon for this. So I'm going to import the Facebook icon from the React icon, and I'm going to give a class name of text white. So let's check. So this is the Facebook icon. Then we have three more, one for Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. So I'm going to copy this 3 times. So the next one will be bg sky 400, and the icon will be the Twitter icon. So AFA Twitter. And for the third one, the BG will be red 400, and the icon will be the YouTube icon. So YouTube icon. Then for the last one, we have the Twitter. No, the last one is Instagram. So here it will be red 600, and for the last one it will be the Instagram. So it will be red 400, and the icon will be the Instagram icon. So now let's check. So this is looking very nice. Then we have this section with some footer link and some hover animation. So for this, the first part is complete. Then the second part. So here I have a div, and inside this div we have a h1 with about us. So for the H1, I'm going to copy the same styling we use in this about club section, club H1. So I'm just going to copy this styling from here, and then I'm going to paste it here. So after the H1, we have 5 links. So here I am going to use the p tag because I am not going to actually implement the link here. You can use the link component from next link. So for the first one, we have about club, then we have contacts, then we have price table, then we have shop, and then our players. So I'm going to select all the p tag, and then I'm going to give them a class name of text 15 pixel with feed. Text color will be white, then in cover the text will be yellow 400, no, yellow 300, then cursor will be pointer, text opacity will be 30, and then margin bottom will be 0.7 rep. So now let's check. So these are links. We are going to use the uppercase here. Now it's look good. Then we have this quick link section. So I am just going to copy this. So this is the div. I'm going to copy this thing, and this is the third part. And here we have quick link. You can change the text here, but I'm not going to change it. If I save, so these are quick link section, and finally we have a get in touch. So I'm going to copy this again, and this is the fourth part. This is the third part, and for the fourth part the heading will be get in touch, and then we have a phone number first. So I'm going to give a dummy phone number, then we have a email, and then we have an address. So we do not need these two, so I'm going to remove this. Let's check. So this is our get in touch section. So you can see here we do not have the uppercase thing, so I'm going to remove the uppercasing here. So I'm going to remove this and this and also this. So we do not need the uppercasing here. So now it's looking good. And then we have this copyright section. So I'm going to copy this text And then after the fourth part and this div, we have our copyright. So copyright. So here we have a h1 with some text, and here I'm going to give a class name of margin top of 2 rem. Text will be 14 pixel, width will be 80%, margin will be auto, text will be white, and opacity will be 50. So this is looking good. So let me show you the responsiveness of the footer. So if I inspect and I'm going to in the responsive mode, you can see the footer is adapting perfectly with the screen size. So here if I select a specific device like iPhone 12 Pro, you can see it's also looking very nice. So if I select another device like iPad mini, it also looking very nice and it adapts perfectly. So this is our footer section. Next, we are going to build the scroll to top button. So this is our scroll to top button. If I click here, it will go back to the top. And if you see, if I scroll a certain amount, then this will be visible, or otherwise it will be hidden. So now we are going to build this feature. So for this, I'm going to create a file in our helper folder, and I'm going to name it scroll to top.tsx. So here I'm going to create the boilerplate, and I'm going to add this in our layout folder. So after the footer, I'm going to add our top scroll to top, because we are adding it in layout so that it will be applied to all of our pages. So then for the styling, the first div have a class name of fixed, then we have a bottom of 4, then we are going to use animate pulse. This is a built-in animation in Tailwind CSS. Then we are going to use right of 4, and then inside this div we have a button. So inside the button I'm going to use a icon which is FA arrow up. So this icon is coming from the React icons, and then this button have a class name of background of blue 500, then we have text white, then we have a rounded of full, then we have width of 12, height of 12, and then flex, item center, justify center, justify will be center, then we have a focus where we have a outline of none. So this is our button. So you can see the button is looking good, but one thing that is missing is by clicking it we are not going to the top, and another thing is the button is always visible. So now we are going to create the functionality for this button. For this we need to use effect and use state. So we are going to convert this component into a client component by using use client, and then we are going to create a state variable, so which is const is visible and set is visible, and we're going to use the use state and initially it will be false. Then I'm going to use the use effect. So use effect, and inside this use effect we have a function called const toggle visibility to toggle the visibility. So here we have another arrow function, and inside this arrow function, so if window dot scroll y, so not screen y, scroll y. So if the scroll y, it means in the scrolling of the y direction is greater than 300 pixel, then we are going to set our button visibility to true, and else we are going to set the button visibility to false. This function is complete, and then in the scroll event, so windows dot scroll, windows dot add event listener, and in the scroll event we are going to toggle the visibility. Now it is a very good practice to remove the event listener inside the use effect. So that's why we are going to return another arrow function, where we are going to use the windows dot, so basically this thing, I'm going to copy this and paste it here, but instead of add listener we are going to use remove event listener, scroll and toggle event listener. So that's it, and we need another function for the scroll to top. So here I'm going to create another function called const scroll to top, where we're going to use the window dot scroll to, and here we are going to pass our top 0. So we are going to the top, and we need the behavior to smooth. So we want a smooth scroll. So these are scroll to top function. Now we have to apply this. First, for the button, we are going to make this a conditional. So here, if is visible is true, and then we are going to show this button. And then another one is, when we click this button, we are going to the scroll to top. So that's it. Now let's check if it's working or not. You see, initially the button is hidden. So if I scroll, there is something wrong. The button is not showing. Let me refresh the page. Now it's working. So you can see, if I scroll some distance, the button is visible, and otherwise it's not visible. So now let's check if our click on the button bring us to the top. So if I click here, you can see it comes to the top. So if I show you again, it's smoothly coming to the top. So our functionality is working properly. So the scroll to top component is completed. Now we are going to add some scroll animation in our website for more user attraction. So let me show you the animation here. So if I scroll, you can see the hero section has some nice animation going on. If I scroll, then in the trending news, we also have some scroll animation. And for the latest news, we also have some animation going on. For the match highlights, you can see here also have some nice animation. And for the latest post, we also have a scroll animation. So now we are going to build this animation in our website. So for this, we are going to use an npm package. So the npm package we are going to use is AOS. So animation on scroll, animate on scroll. This is a very easy library to use. So here you can see here we have different types of animation going on: fade right, fade left, fade up. And the cool thing is we just need to add this data attribute in our div or in our element that we want to animate. So by adding this line, our work is done, our animation is done. So I'll show you how to do that. We also have some customization. So here you can see we have some customized anchor placement and all the good stuff. So if I go to the GitHub page, here you can learn more about this library if you want to dive deep in this library. So I'm going to copy the npm script to install the package. So I'm going to copy this and here I'm going to paste it, and we're going to set up our AOS in our home component. So here we are going to set up our AOS. So here we are going to use effect. So that's why we need to convert this into a client component. So here I'm going to use client to convert this into a client component. Then we have to add these two lines in our code. One is importing the AOS and one is the styling. So I'm going to copy this and then I'm going to paste it here. So here we have to also install the types associated with AOS. So that's why I'm going to use this npm script. I'm going to copy this and I'm going to run it here. Now it will install the necessary types for AOS. Then we are going to set up or initialize our AOS. So here I am going to use the use effect, and inside this I am going to call a function called init AOS, and it will be an async function. And inside this we are going to await import AOS. Then we are going to use AOS we are going to use AOS dot init, and here we are going to pass some parameter. For the first one we are going to pass the duration, and it will be 1000 millisecond, means 1 second. Then we are going to pass our animation type easing, which is going to be ease. Then we are going to pass once is equal to 2, so the animation will happen once in the page load. The animation will be true. And then we have anchor placement, and here we are going to use top bottom. So this is our setup for AOS. Now we have to call the function. So here I'm going to call the init AOS. So our setup is complete. Now we are going to add our animation. So first I'm going to open the hero section, and here for this p tag I'm going to add an animation. So here I'm going to use data-aos is equal to, and for this we are going to use the fade left animation. And then for the h1 I'm going to use another animation of type. Here we are going to use fade right. So fade right. And here I'm going to use a delay, so that the first the p tag will animate, and after some times the h1 will animate, not at the same time. That's why we're going to use some delay here. So here I'm going to use a delay of 200 milliseconds. Then for the for this div, not this, for this div we are going to use a data dash aos is equal to fade left, and again I'm going to use the delay of 400 milliseconds. I'm just going to copy this, and then I'm going to apply some animation for this div also, and this will be fade right, and the delay will be 600. I'm increasing the delay of 200 milliseconds. So after this div we have these two buttons. So for the first button, and the data.aos will be zoom in, and the delay will be 800. So here we have 600, here will be 800. I'm going to copy this, and for the next button we have zoom out. So zoom out, and the delay will be 1000 milliseconds, which is 1 second. And now for the play button, we have a zoom in, and the delay will be this. So now let's check if our animation work properly or not. So if I refresh, you can see the animation looks very nice. So fast, you can see it looks very nice. Then we are going to add the animation for this trending news. So I'm going to open the trending news component, and for the first card we have a data-aos, and we're going to use the fade left and data-aos dash anchor placement. Here we are going to use a new anchor placement, which is top center. So then I am going to copy this, and then for the next div I'm going to paste it, and here we are also going to use the fade. So no, we are not going to use fade left, we are going to use fade right. So fade right, and then for the second card I'm going to use a delay. So here I'm going to use a delay of 200 milliseconds. So I'm going to copy these three and then paste for the third card. Here the delay will be 400 milliseconds, and for the fourth card the delay will be 600 milliseconds. So now let's check. So if I refresh, this animation looks very nice, and then the trending news animation is also looking good. Then we have the latest news. So I'm going to open the latest news component, and then for the big card we have a data-aos feed right, and then we have data-aos anchor placement. Here we are going to use the top center. Then I'm going to copy this, and for this small card here I'm going to paste it. So here we are going to use the zoom in, and also going to add a delay 200 milliseconds. Now I'm going to copy this, and for the second one I'm going to paste it here and change the delay to 400. For next one it will be 600. That's it. So let's check. I'm going to refresh the page. So let's scroll. You can see this animation also looking very nice. Then we have this match highlights. So I'm going to open the match highlights. Then for the first one we have a data-aos is equal to fade left. Then we have the anchor placement. Anchor placement will be top center. Then I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it for the next card, and here I'm going to add a delay 200 milliseconds. Now I'm going to copy this tree, and for the next card I'm going to paste it and change it to 400, and for this one it will be 600. So now let's see. I'm going to refresh the page again. So the mass highlights scroll animation is looking perfect. Then we have the latest post. So I'm going to open the latest post, and here for the first one I'm going to paste the previous animation that we copied, and here I'm going to change the first one will be fade left and top center, but first we do not need the delay for the first one, so I'm going to paste it here. So here we have 200 milliseconds. For the third post card it will be 400, and for the last one we have 600. So now if we check, I'm going to refresh. You can see the every animation is looking very nice. So for the latest post it's also looking very nice. So That's it. Our animation is perfectly working. Finally, we are going to deploy our project in the Vercel. To deploy our project in Vercel, first we need to push our project in the GitHub. So that's why I'm going to open my GitHub. So I'm going to open my GitHub account, and here I'm going to create a new repository. So I'm going to name it sports template, and I'm going to make it a private repository, and then I'm going to create the repository. So now this will create a repository, and then in the website, not in the website, in the Visual Studio Code. So first we need to, so let me close this and close the project, and here I'm going to first initialize our project using git, which is git init. Then I'm going to add using git add and dot, so that all the file are added. So it's added. Then we are going to use git commit, and then a message like first commit, and now we have done this part, and then I'm going to copy this and paste it here, and then we're going to add our remote origin. So it's added, and finally we're going to push our project. So I'm going to copy this and paste it here. So now it will push our project in the GitHub. So you can see it's 65% now. Let's wait some times for this to finish. It will depend on your internet speed. So you can see it's completed now. So if I refresh, you can see our project is added in our GitHub. Then we have to open the Vercel dashboard. So I'm going to open my Vercel dashboard. If you have no account in Vercel, you have to create a free account here. And then in here, I'm going to add a new project. And then it will open a new project for me. So here you can see import Git repository. Sometimes you need to connect your Git here in Vercel. I have already connected my GitHub here. That's why you can see here we have the sports template repository that I recently posted. So I'm going to import this, and for the name I'm going to name the same, and then I'm going to deploy. So now it will deploy our project in the Vercel. So it's start building. You can see it's installing the dependencies. Now the dependencies is installed. Then it is creating a optimized production build. And here you can see it's using the Next.js 14, the latest version of the Next.js. Now it's generating the page. Now you can see that deployment is complete. Now I'm going to open the dashboard by clicking the button continue to dashboard. Then it will open the dashboard for us. So this is our dashboard. My internet is a little bit slow, that's why it's taking some times to load. So now it's load. It's give us a domain here. So if I click here, it will open our project. Now this project is in live. So you can see it's loading. The animation is working properly here. We have our nav links and the join button. So if I scroll, you can see the trending news animation is working. The latest news animations also working properly. The mass highlight animation is working. The latest post section animation is working. And if I click here, it's also working. The scroll to top button. If I click here, you can see the modal and YouTube video is also working. So let me show you the responsiveness for one final time. So here if I click, you can see the navbar, which is looking very nice. If I select iPhone, you can see everything's fit perfectly. So it's looking very nice. If I select iPad mini, you can see it's also looking very nice. So the content is fit perfectly. So that's our project and that's it for today. If you have any question related to this project, you can ask me in the comment section and I'll try my best to solve your problem. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe our channel for more interesting Next.js project. So thanks for watching and goodbye.